Hi everyone, good to see you all again. Welcome to my session on mixed media canvas painting. What is mixed media? Mixed media is an artwork in which more than one medium or material has been used. Assemblages and collages are two common examples of art using different media that will make use of different materials including cloth, paper, wood, clay, and any found objects. All these various materials are combined to create a new masterpiece. Mixed media art is contemporary and has gained a lot of value and interest with art lovers. Today, let's understand how to handle this medium to create an artwork. Now let's see what all art materials we need for our mixed media work. You can use Faber-Castell acrylic paints. They come in two ranges, one with 12 colors and the other one with 24 colors. You can use either of these premium quality colors for your canvas mixed media painting. A plain canvas board. I've taken an 8x10 size of canvas board. White glue, clear varnish, flat and round brushes from Faber-Castell, metallic paints from Faber-Castell, palette, a waste cloth and a cup of water. We also need other materials for our mixed media canvas painting. Cleaned eggshells like these, black chenna, horse gram, corn flour, some fancy buttons and charms like these, corrugated paper, cardboards from empty cartons like these, jute fabric, old sheets from magazines, sandpaper, jute cord, texture plates, some nails and washers like these, scissors, candle, matchbox, tissue paper, old debit card, some texture tools for carving on with your clay, like you can take a ballpoint pen, refill, comb, butter knife, fork, spoons, some tools like these, broomsticks, a bowl for mixing, small bowl, coconut oil and a hairdryer. Now let's see how we can do our mixed media work on our canvas. As a first step before starting our mixed media work, we have to get ready with our texture paste. To make our texture paste, you will need corn flour, white glue, some acrylic paint, a small cup for mixing and a spoon. So let's make our texture paste. We're just going to take 2 teaspoons of corn flour, to that we're just going to add some white glue. If you have taken 2 teaspoons of corn flour, then you need to add 2 teaspoons of white glue. If it gets little watery, it's always you can go and you can put some corn flour to balance it up. To this mixture, we will add some white acrylic paint, and we are going to thoroughly mix all these three together to make a fine paste. Let's mix it thoroughly and make a fine paste. If you notice, I have mixed the mixture thoroughly and I've got a super fine paste. We have not added water to this mixture. It's only corn flour, white glue and some white acrylic paint. So this is how our texture paste would be. Now we'll be using this texture paste for giving texture on our mixed media canvas artwork. This can be saved. You can store it in an airtight container and you can use it whenever required. So same way, let's make our clay and get it ready. To make our clay, we will need the following materials: a small bowl for mixing, corn flour, white glue and some coconut oil. Now let's do our mixing. In a bowl, I'm taking some corn flour. To this mixture, we're going to add white glue, you should not add water to this mixture. It's just the white glue in this which will be mixing together to make our clay. So you can add little by little to see how much you need. Accordingly, we can use it. To this mixture, we'll add a few drops of coconut oil so that it will be used for greasing. And now we will start mixing our mixture. You can either use a spoon or your hands to do this mixing. Just like kneading a chapati dough, puri dough, we will mix it nicely thoroughly to make our clay. So let's mix it and get it ready. If you notice, we have got the dough ready. The clay is now fully ready. We're going to use this clay to make all our clay work in our mixed media work. So the clay which is now ready can be stored in a Ziploc cover so that it doesn't dry away. So just put a little bit of oil to keep the moisture in it and save it in a Ziploc cover like this. And we'll be using it for our mixed media work later. As the next step, we are going to start creating some interesting textures on our mixed media canvas. So take your canvas and apply the texture paste which we made using corn flour and white glue and white paint. Apply a small quantity, spread it with your spoon like that to create some interesting textures on your canvas. So just spread it like this. You can either use a palette knife to spread it, or a butter knife will also do the technique. Don't cover up everywhere because we still need the rough texture of the canvas here and there. So as you spread it, just give sparingly, kind of create a texture on your canvas with your texture paste which we made like that. And you can also use forks, combs to create textures on your canvas. You can even use a butter knife or a fork like that to create some interesting textures. So like this, let's add some texture on the canvas and get it ready. After creating some interesting textures on your canvas using the texture paste, we are going to start gluing many things on this. I have now taken corrugated paper. This is from a biscuit box I took it. So I'm just going to stick that. To stick that, you can use the same texture paste, or you can even use the white glue to stick your paper backing. So like this, we are going to apply some glue and we're going to stick our fabric. I'm just going to take a piece of jute fabric and we're going to stick it up there like that. The idea can be totally your choice. You can decide how you want to stick your fabric. There is no hard and fast rule that this is the place for sticking and this is not the place for sticking. You can stick it anywhere you want as you wish. So I'm just going to take some pieces of cardboard from the packing carton and I'm just going to stick that here. Since this has got already glue, our texture paste has glue in it already, there is no need for glue application, but provided if you still need, you can always apply a line of glue like that and you can always stick it like that. So just create a random patterns here and there with the jute fabric, with the cardboard, with the corrugated paper, and create something interesting textures on our canvas like this. So let's glue it and get it ready. Once when we have finished sticking this has to be left to dry for a few minutes. So we can either use a hair dryer to dry it, or you can keep it under the sun, or you can just leave it to dry for a few hours, and then you're ready to paint on it. As a next step, we can go further and add some interesting textures on our cardboard bases here. So let's add that now. I'm just going to take the same texture paste which we made with corn flour and white glue and white paint. I'm just going to apply that a little on the piece of cardboard. You can use the knife to spread it, or a palette knife to spread it, like how I'm doing. After you spread it like this, just grab and take off the excess. We don't need too much there. So once when the spreading is done like this, we can start creating some interesting textures with eggshells. So take the eggshells which are already washed and cleaned, just break them into small pieces like this and place them on the texture paste applied cardboard base and press it softly like that and make it break on the surface. As the eggshell breaks, it will create interesting mosaic kind of a texture on the cardboard base. So this is the first thing that I'm going to complete now. So just place it, press it, and leave it to set like that. In the same way, we can add texture wherever we need with the eggshell and get it ready. As a next step, we are going to start sticking the black chickpea to this area. So we're just going to take this and we're just going to apply our texture paste the same way like how we did for the eggshell. Just going to apply it here, our texture paste. And then we are going to stick our black chickpea to this base. So this can, since it is slightly big, you can arrange it carefully and neatly. Just like arranging some beads, you can arrange it in an orderly way. So let's stick like this and get it ready. If you notice, I've completed sticking the black chenna here. So the next one is going to be sticking the horse gram. So for that, I'm taking the same texture paste and I'm applying it to this cardboard here on top, and we're going to stick the horse gram here. So let's smear the paste nice and thick. All this needs to be dry for a long time, only then it will be ready for your painting. So just leave it to dry for at least an hour. So after applying this, we're going to stick the horse gram here. So like this, we will stick for this area and we will get it ready. As a next step, we're going to start making some fancy buttons using the clay that we made with corn flour and white glue. So I'm just taking a small batch of clay from the Ziploc cover and I'm kneading it nicely and softly like this so that we don't get any cracks. Once when we are ready with the clay, let's take some talcum powder and dust our mold, the texture plate base, like that, and let's make a ball of this clay. I've taken almost an amla size, the amla size, a small amla size. So just place this to see, we are going to place this here, so we're just going to see how we can make a texture. Since we already put the talcum powder there, you can softly press it and then lift it you will get a beautiful texture like that. This will get stuck here to this base. So for that, we are going to apply some liquid glue here. And we are going to stick the piece of clay that we made with the texture plate on this space. In the same way, we can make many types of buttons here and we can stick it. As a next step, we are going to add some more buttons to our work. So knead the clay and make it soft and make a ball out of it. Put a dot of glue to the area where we are going to stick it. Take this clay ball and press it on that base with your finger and flatten it like that. Then you can use interesting texture tools, like I've taken a cap of a bottle cap, oil bottle cap, and you can also use more textures like that. You can make a lot of varieties in this. So it's all totally your creativity in developing these designs. You can even use these kind of cookie cutters and you can make some textures on that. So like this, we can add on many types here and we can get it ready. As a next step, we are going to stick some interesting paper shapes. For that, we're just going to light a candle and we're going to take a piece of paper from any old magazine and we're just going to trim the paper like this. And we're going to start burning the edges to give it an uneven look. So for that, we're just going to take the paper, show it to the candle and slightly burn the edges like that. And if it goes beyond that, you can always dust it off and you will get a burnt edge like that. Like this, you can make a strip and get it ready. If you notice, I have made an uneven edge using the candle flame and I've got the paper strip ready. This we're going to stick it here on the corrugated paper base like this. Same way, another piece, I'm going to stick it on this top corner here. So let's stick it with liquid glue and get it ready. So just apply a thin line of glue. You can also use a texture paste for this, but I'm using now the liquid glue. Spread the glue evenly and stick it to the corrugated paper like that. So let's get it stuck and get it ready. As a next step, we're going to start sticking some more interesting materials to the canvas. For that, I'm going to take the liquid glue. I'm going to squeeze it here. I'm going to stick this rose button over here. The same way, you can stick interesting things like nails, washers and all those things. So I'm going to put this wooden washer here and here. And we're going to stick this here like that. You can also glue some sticks and nails to the work. So on this jute fabric, since it is very vacant, I'm just going to put a line of glue there and we're going to stick these sticks. I've taken some broomsticks. You can also use toothpicks for this, or even twigs will also do this effect. You can also glue some nails. So let's put some glue here and put some nails. I've taken some old iron nails. I'm just going to glue these here. So like this, let's add a lot of details to this. And I'm also going to glue a stem for the rose. For that, I've taken a jute rope. This will be glued from there like that and we will join it up here. So let's start sticking these and get it ready. As a next step, I'm going to stick the jute ropes. I'm using a glue gun because I'm slightly doing a spiral design. So I'm just putting it with a glue gun, and I'm just sticking the jute rope with the help of the glue gun. Like this, we will stick the rope. So like this, we can add a lot of details using different materials to our canvas and leave it to dry for a while before we start with painting. As a next step, while our canvas is getting dry, we are going to load our palette with acrylic colors. I have taken now the premium quality acrylic colors, 24 shades, and I'm just going to load my palette. I'm going to take now white acrylic paint. I'm going to use lemon yellow. And then I'm using chrome yellow. Light orange. You can decide your color scheme based on your choice of colors. Dark orange. Taking some red. I'm also going to take some dark red, Indian red. Some sap green, burnt sienna, Vandyke brown, and black. So I've chosen these colors for painting the mixed media on canvas. So we're just going to take these colors and start applying. The first color that you're going to apply is going to be white color. So I'm just going to use my Teflon hair flat brush from Faber-Castell, and just going to add some water to the white color. Mix it nicely to a milky consistency. And this white paint is going to be applied like a primer on the cardboard basis so that it won't absorb a lot of other colors, and the colors that you apply will also be seen through nice and bright. So we're just going to take this white color and I'm just going to apply that to some specific areas like here. Same way here. Same way to the jute fabric. This will act as a primer. So let's apply this and get it ready. After applying white, we are just going to start applying the other colors now. I'm just going to start with the background painting. I'm going to use earthy colors and warm color scheme for my work. So I'm going to start with a little bit of white to the base. And as my white is wet, I'm going to use a little bit of lemon yellow. And when my lemon yellow color is wet, I'm going to use some chrome yellow. Let it be a random application of colors. You can use some cadmium yellow. You can use some orange. So like this, randomly apply colors and start blending them into the background using some brown. So like this, little by little, we'll start filling up the background base. As a next step, after completing painting the background, you can start working on all the embellishments that we have added on the base, like the clay work, the jute, the grains, the nails, the jute cord, the corrugated paper, the eggshell. Everything can be painted with vibrant colors. Color choice is totally yours, so you can decide what colors you want. Right now I'm going to take red paint and I'm going to use it on the corrugated paper, carefully filling it. So like this, we are going to paint area by area and we are going to get it ready. As a next step, to give an oxidized effect in some areas, I'm going to use black paint as a base color. So for the buttons, I'm just going to apply black paint like this and I'm going to leave it to dry and later work on it with metallic paints to give it an oxidized effect. So like this, we can fill for some areas with black paint and get it ready. As a next step, we are going to paint these eggshells with another contrasting color. Since we have an earthy color scheme and a warm color scheme, I'm going to go for a warm green color. I'm taking sap green. I'm going to use my cadmium yellow to mix with my sap green and shade it. So I'm just applying right now the green directly. And then I'm using a little bit of cadmium yellow to mix with my green, so that gives you a kind of a warm green color. So like this, little by little, we'll cover up our work and we'll leave it to dry. Once when the base is fully dry, we will be using metallic colors to highlight the design. As a next step, you can use some metallic paints. I've taken some in my palette. Using the flat brush or a sponge, you can apply these metallic colors to give it an antique effect. Since our work is a lot of warm colors, I'm using gold, silver, copper and bronze colors to my buttons. You can highlight it with 2 or 3 colors from different directions to give it an antique effect like this. Same way for the eggshells, you can use this greenish color to give it a highlight on the eggshells. Same way for the stem, for the rose, you can highlight it. So you can highlight this in many areas. Even for the red background can be highlighted it this way. You can use silver to highlight the black Chena doll. So like this, little by little, you can start adding details to the design with highlights and complete our mixed media work. So get it done and leave it to dry. I have now taken the time to add a lot of depth to the piece, like I'm used a lot of black in some areas to enhance all the cutouts and the base work that we did for the mixed media work. Once when you're done with all of this, we can start gluing some embellishments. I'm going to glue these fancy charms to our mixed media canvas work. Just put a dot of glue and glue these embellishments. Same way, we can add some more embellishments like this. I'm going to put another dot of glue here. I'm going to add these fish buttons. Like that. So like this, we can add them in many areas. I'm going to stick now the hearts as leaves. So I'm just going to stick one here and another one here. So just stick these as extra decorations. It's totally your choice in deciding where you want to stick them. So like this, we can add a lot of details and complete our piece. Once when you finish adding all the buttons and embellishments to your work, this has to be left to dry for a day. After a day, you can varnish the piece using clear varnish. Clear varnish, there are many brands in the market, so just make sure you get a clear varnish like this. It comes in a spray container, so shake them nicely till you get that rattle sound, and then you can start spraying the varnish to the entire board. So carefully spray the varnish. Apply 2 to 3 coats of this varnish and leave it to dry for 3 hours, and then your piece is ready to frame and adorn your living room. If you notice, we have completed our mixed media on canvas using a variety of mixed media techniques. We have used a lot of materials and tools to do this activity. Every time when you create a mixed media, a piece is always unique. You can use a lot of tools and materials, and I'm sure you will enjoy creating your very own mixed media artwork. Thanks for watching.